It starts small. A message you didn't expect. A reply that comes just a little too late. A silence that feels intentional. And suddenly, you're not just in a relationship. You're in a system. A system you don't fully understand. Here's the uncomfortable part. Most people don't fall in love with a person. They fall in love with how that person controls their emotions. A study once suggested that unpredictable rewards, like inconsistent affection, can increase emotional attachment by over 40%. Not steady love, not honesty, uncertainty. That's where dark psychology begins. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Because relationships today are no longer just emotional, they are strategic. Let's break the system. It usually starts with intensity. Day 1 feels like day 100. Constant texting, deep conversations, fast emotional bonding. You think this is rare. It's not. It's a technique. Psychologists call it love bombing, but that term sounds soft, almost romantic. In reality, it's acceleration. You're being pulled forward before you have time to evaluate anything. Your brain doesn't get to ask, is this real? Because it's too busy feeling. And here's the trick. The faster something starts, the harder it crashes. But not immediately. First comes the shift. Replies slow down. Energy changes. Something feels off. And now, without realizing it, you enter phase 2, intermittent reinforcement. It sounds technical, but it's simple. You don't get love consistently anymore. You get it randomly. One day they're distant. Next day they're perfect again. Cold, warm, cold, warm. Your brain starts chasing the warm. This is the same mechanism used in gambling addiction. Slot machines don't reward you every time. They reward you just enough to keep you playing. Relationships can work the same way. You stop asking, is this healthy? And start asking, how do I get them back to how they were? That's the trap. Because now, control has shifted. Not through force, through emotional dependency. And it gets deeper. There's something called mirroring. At the start, they seem exactly like you. Same interests, same values, same humor. It feels like destiny. But often, it's observation. They study you, reflect you, become what you want. Because people don't trust strangers. They trust familiarity. So the fastest way to gain trust is to become familiar. But here's the irony. You're not connecting with them. You're connecting with a version of yourself reflected back. And when that reflection slowly disappears, you don't just lose them. You lose the version of you that existed around them. That's why it feels so personal. Now let's talk about something quieter. Guilt. Not loud guilt, not obvious manipulation, subtle guilt. Statements like, I guess I just care more than you do, or it's fine, I'm used to being treated like this. No accusations, just implications. And your brain fills in the blanks. You start adjusting your behavior, explaining more, apologizing more, even when you're not sure what you did wrong. This is emotional framing. Instead of controlling your actions directly, they control how you interpret your actions. And once that happens, you begin to self-correct in their favor. No arguments needed. Now, zoom out. Put all of this together. Fast emotional bonding, inconsistent rewards, mirroring, subtle guilt. It's not random behavior. It's a pattern, a system designed, consciously or unconsciously, to create attachment, then maintain control. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Not everyone who does this is evil. Some people don't even realize they're doing it.
They learned it from past relationships, from insecurity, from fear of losing control, which makes it harder to detect because it doesn't feel like manipulation. It feels like confusion, mixed signals, emotional highs and lows, moments of clarity followed by doubt. And the longer you stay, the harder it becomes to leave. Because your brain is no longer chasing the person, it's chasing the pattern, trying to solve it, trying to win. But relationships are not supposed to feel like puzzles. If you need to decode someone constantly, you're already inside the system. And here's the part no one talks about: the math of it. Let's say 80% of your interactions feel uncertain, but 20% feel perfect. Your brain doesn't average that out. It overvalues the 20%, because rare rewards feel more valuable than consistent ones. So even if most of the relationship feels wrong, that small percentage keeps you invested. Hope becomes the currency, and hope is very hard to walk away from. Now compare that to something stable: consistent communication, predictable behavior, clear intentions. It feels calm, but sometimes calm feels boring because your brain has been trained to associate intensity with value. So you might even reject healthy relationships because they don't trigger the same emotional spikes. That's the final layer of the system. It doesn't just trap you in one relationship, it rewires what you think love is supposed to feel like. So what's the reality? Most people believe they're choosing partners based on compatibility, but often they're choosing based on emotional stimulation. Not safety, not stability, stimulation. And dark psychology thrives in that space, where feelings are strong, but clarity is weak. So the next time someone enters your life and everything feels too perfect or suddenly too confusing, there's a question worth asking. Not about them, about you. Are you experiencing love, or are you responding to a system that knows exactly how your mind works?